Hi, it's Steph. And recently, I took a trip over to Pennsylvania with a couple of gardening friends to check out some of their local gardens, such as Chanticleer and Longwood Gardens. These gardens are absolutely beautiful, and it gives gardeners an opportunity to graze some inspiration for your own home garden. We left feeling really inspired. I took a lot of footage throughout the trip, and I'll be sharing those videos periodically. But today, I wanted to focus on showing you the beautiful countryside cottage that we ended up staying at while we were on this trip. Now, we already knew from the Airbnb listing that this place was adorable, but driving into this property for the first time and checking out this cottage made us really excited to be able to spend a few days at this charming place. The cottage had beautiful furnishings and everything that you would need to be comfortable while staying at a place away from home for a few days. And it had a gorgeous picture window overlooking a shady garden courtyard. This was our first indication that the owners of this property were at least a little bit into gardening. And over the next several days, we were able to explore and discover a few more beautiful shady gardens surrounding the cottage. When we filled out the request for this Airbnb, we did say that we were going to be visiting local gardens, and they left out some garden-related coffee table books for us, which I thought was a really nice touch. It was a wood-burning stove, which I would imagine would be really cozy in the winter. And there was also 2 bathrooms, a full bath on the main level, as well as a half bath on the upper level. This was really convenient, especially when sharing a space with 4 people. It made getting out of the house in the morning really efficient. And there was also a stackable washer and dryer, which one of our house guests actually put to use. It was a really nice feature, and that way you can go home from vacation with clean laundry if you wanted to. The half bath had a really beautiful view of the sprawling farmland, and we often caught glimpses of the sheep or the horses out there grazing. The upper level, or loft, where the other 2 beds were, had a beautiful ceiling that was lined by these hardwood planks that looked like they could have been reclaimed wood. But it was a really cozy space to sleep, and it had a beautiful view, not only through the picture window to the outdoors, but also of the main level below. The kitchen was beautiful and was fully stocked with utensils, cookware, and dishes, as well as appliances like a microwave, toaster, and coffee maker. It even had a dishwasher. It had everything you would need to prepare meals at home if you wanted to. The property owners also left us a dozen fresh eggs from their hens, which was really lovely. And we put them to good use, making breakfast at home each morning before we headed out for the day. One of the simple joys that I took away from this trip and our stay at this cottage was the ability to make myself a cup of coffee and sit out on the patio each morning listening to the birds. While at home, we have good intentions of doing this and taking our time to enjoy a slow morning, it's not always feasible, because when we get up in our own homes, there's always a long list of things to do, so taking a time out is not always a priority. Well, while on vacation, I fully took advantage of this and really enjoyed slowing down in the morning with my cup of coffee. While outside, whether we were on the patio or wandering around the property, we were often greeted by many of the pets that reside there. There are 3 beautiful Siamese cats that were really friendly and would come around often, as well as 2 dogs. And there were usually some animals out in the fields, the sheep, horses, and even a couple of donkeys. You might notice in some of this footage that the sky looks pretty hazy. And that's because we were here during the week where the wildfires in Canada were sending some smoke over to the States. But each morning we were still able to get outside and enjoy the calming and serene setting of this beautiful place. The bees and pollinators really enjoyed this penstemon that was in bloom in this courtyard area while we were visiting, and I often caught them enjoying the flowers. The property had a number of really mature rhododendrons as well as these white dogwood trees, and both happened to be in bloom when we were visiting. They were really beautiful. Over on the side of the property, we happened to notice this really pretty weeping Ruby Falls redbud. And one morning while talking to the owner, we mentioned how pretty it was. And he told us that this was actually a rescue, a tree that someone else had taken out of their landscape because they didn't enjoy it and they were looking to either get rid of it or rehome it. So they picked up this tree and planted it on the property, and it didn't miss a beat. It still looks really beautiful. Most of the gardens surrounding the cottage were shade gardens, so they had some really beautiful selections of shade-loving plants, such as this white astilbe under this tree ring with some hellebore. And they also had the occasional foxglove that offered a little pop of color in between all of the shade or woodland plants. These ruby slippers oak leaf hydrangeas were only a couple of years old, but they had put on some wonderful growth in that short period of time. They also had some native heuchera called autumn bride heuchera and some maidenhair ferns. They also had another native plant that was really cool. It actually was very reminiscent of agara. It had these little dainty wispy white flowers, and it was called Galinia trifoliata. I'm going to leave you here to enjoy the rest of the views around this charming cottage. I will put the link for the Airbnb down in the description of this video. If you're ever over in Pennsylvania to visit their beautiful gardens, this would be a great consideration for a place to stay. I hope that you enjoy the rest of this video, and thank you so much for watching.
Hi.
Good morning. How are you?
Hi, Birdie.
Hello, Birdie. Are you having fun today? Is it a good morning?
Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button. And please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos. And we'll see you soon.